What's up? It's Marco back in on This Week in Soccer, the weekly show where we cover all things U.S. men's national team. And today, got a lot of things to talk about. Honestly, not too many great things. A bit of a bad week for national team players, but hey, let's get straight into it. First thing I want to talk about is Weston McKennie has been linked with a move away from Juventus. Two clubs interested seem to be Tottenham and Everton. This is reported by Spursweb and Nicolo Shira. Hope I'm pronouncing that name right. It would definitely be a downgrade for him. I mean, Tottenham, Everton, not as prestigious as Juventus. Tottenham, technically a Big Six club, but I don't really think of them like that. Probably think of them a little bit below Leicester. That might be, I don't feel bad about that. When they were in the Super League, I was pissed. But anyway, I mean, playing time wise, it's a good move. I mean, he wasn't in the team this week, but he was suspended, so it doesn't really count. But it doesn't seem like he's going to be starting for them. And not too sure about Juventus right now, but I feel like if they were going to sell anybody, it would be Ronaldo at this point. But he's been linked away with them a couple of times now, and it seems like it could be legit, so I don't know. Next, staying with links to Everton, Matthew Hoppe, still not in the Schalke team. I feel like he is definitely going to move on. Everton seem like the likeliest spot right now. I mean, they could be spending money. I would love to see him under Rafa Benitez. He has done very well with a couple of good strikers. But, it just seems Premier League in general seems to be the spot. Everton seems likeliest at the moment. Southampton, they just lost Danny Ings, but they signed Adam Armstrong. Villa signed Danny Ings, so a couple of striker positions are getting filled, but it could still happen. We don't know. Next, Matt Miazga signed on loan for Alavés from Chelsea. I don't really get the loan, but if he stays and gets some playing time, that's good. I mean, at this point in his career, he needs to leave Chelsea. It's not going to happen, and I feel like we know that, but he maybe stays at Alavés after this year, and I mean, going to La Liga, that's definitely a good thing, but yeah, it has to turn into a long-term move this summer. You gotta get out of that Chelsea system. Next, Owen Otasowie completed a move to Club Brugge. He left Wolves, and hopefully this will get some playing time, and Belgian League is a very good spot to develop. KDB went through there. Mark McKenzie's been playing there. He's been doing pretty well. Still not starting, but you can see his talent's definitely going up. And yeah, I like that move for Owen Otasowie. He's somebody who you really want to see him get some playing time, and hopefully that can turn into him becoming like a really great player. Next, Tyler Boyd has been loaned out to Kayseri Rizespor or something. I guess don't trust Turkish articles because it seemed like he was going to stay. I thought the manager was liking him, but I guess not. I guess playing time is good for him, but it seems like he's not going to stick at Besiktas, and pretty disappointing for his career, I guess. Next, Reggie Cannon still continues to be linked to Nottingham Forest. It seems like it could happen. This via Nottingham Forest news at this point, and he's like Matthew Hoppe. He's not featuring in the Boa Vista squad, so I definitely see him on his way out. But Nottingham Forest seemed like the most likely spot, but again, up in the air at the moment. Next, Eric Palmer-Brown. He continues to be linked with Venezia, but deal's still not done. Nothing solid to report on that. And Daryl DK. He continues to be linked away from Orlando City. The Hard Tackle reports that Crystal Palace are interested, though I follow Crystal Palace, and this is the first I'm hearing about it, so I'm not too sure about that. I feel like the West Ham moves that we talked about a bit before, I feel like that's the more likely move at the moment. But, keep your eye on that. Next, we've got injury news, and, it's pretty bad. And I mentioned it's a bad week. This is mostly what I was talking about. Christian Pulisic, he picked up the virus and will have to isolate. We can only speculate on what his status will be for the World Cup qualifiers. I mean, he's apparently symptom-free, so that's a good thing, but, man, you have to isolate, and I feel like the first game is definitely going to be a doubt, because even once he gets back, he still has to get training with the squad again, and you don't want to rush him in, so I'm really not too confident in him for the first game. Maybe the second game, but the El Salvador match, I'm not too sure. Next, Jordan Siebatcheu, he also picked up an injury, and this is definitely bad for the national team because both him and Yazi Zardes are out, and those are two what I like to call high floor strikers, where maybe they don't have the most potential or the room to grow, but if you put them in against a bad side, they're going to pick up a goal. And both of them are out at the moment, and we're really going to have to see Josh Sargent step up. If I think Daryl DK is still hurt as well, so maybe this is a time to call in Ricardo Pepe. Just get him cap-tied, and he honestly might be a very good option for us at the moment. So yeah, man, our striker situation definitely not looking too good at the second. Next, Giovanni Reina. He seemed to pick up a knock, but nothing serious by Borussia Dortmund Buzz is reporting that, or BVB Buzz. But it seems to be like just something, but he'll be back for the Bundesliga game, so he'll be fine. Next, Cameron Carter-Vickers. He played for Tottenham in a Europa Conference League game, and normally that'd be a good thing, but man, he had a pretty poor game, and they lost to the Portuguese team. And he seemed to pick up an ankle injury. He was subbed off at the end. And it's disappointing because Tottenham are going through a bit of a center back crisis, and man, he's hurt for that, and he, didn't really step up in this game. He played pretty poorly, so yeah, don't really see him playing for Tottenham again. There's no real updates on his transfer. He's just been linked with Celtic and Newcastle and Bournemouth for like about 2 months now. You got to assume that happens eventually, but at the moment, nothing. And lastly, for injury news, Tim Ream seems to have gotten hurt. He was like limping a bit after a Fulham game. Maybe that rules him out of the national team for this game, which wouldn't be too much of a bad thing, but yeah, still disappointing. And staying in Fulham, Antonee Robinson had a very good game, and he seems to be doing really good in the championship. He picked up an assist, and Fulham got 2 wins this week. He's been looking really good, and Fulham are likely to yo-yo. They're kind of in a spot right now where they're Championship, Premier League. So staying there wouldn't be the worst thing, and if he's getting a lot of playing time, if he's really developing, his reputation seems to be growing in England, and honestly, at this point, I feel like he's a top 20 left back in England. I'm looking at some guys in the Premier League like Rico Henry on Brentford, Tyreek Mitchell on Crystal Palace, whoever Burnley puts out. Well, Burnley, they're more of a system defense, so you can't really judge that. But I feel like he's a top 20 left back in England, so I'm really hoping to see him do well. Okay, next, we got Brenden Aaronson. He scored a late go-ahead goal in the first leg of the Champions League qualifier, and man, he's on some great form. Man, I think you remember that goal against Barcelona, even if it was in a friendly. I feel like that did wonders for his reputation, and I think he might be starting for the national team if Pulisic is out. So yeah, Brenden Aaronson, he has been really taking his opportunities, and I'm really hoping to see him do well for the national team. Next, Chris Richards made a late appearance for Bayern as they sealed up a win. It was only a couple minutes, but it was really good to see because we were not too sure about Chris Richards in that Bayern squad. He came out for Alphonso Davies as well, so it was a more defensive move just to seal up a 3-2 win. Shows some confidence in him by the manager, and yeah, it seems like he is going to be getting a lot of playing time this year, and maybe this means he sticks around at Bayern. The links to Hoffenheim continue, but hey, hopefully this translates him getting some time in the national team, and there's no updates on the potential move. Next, John Brooks helped Wolfsburg go to the top Bundesliga. Again, you can't really say too much about John Brooks. He's just a really solid player, but I want to mention him as much as I can. Then Tyler Adams and Jesse Mark, they picked up the first win as RB Leipzig crushed Pellegrino Materazzo's Stuttgart team. Yeah, really good to see them bounce back after a pretty poor first week, but it's the first week, too early to really judge. Next, Julian Green helped Greuther Fürth to their first points in the Bundesliga. He played a part in them winning a penalty, had a pretty good through ball and some good work there. Solid performance, and he's a Bundesliga starter, and we really got to just take note of that because I wanted him in the national team when he was in Bundesliga too, and now, just how many guys do we have that's like a starter in a top 5 league? So yeah, man, really good to see Julian Green doing what he does. And speaking of starters in the top 5 league, Tim Weah, he's starting for Lille. He hasn't been playing great, but he's been starting for them on the wing and getting a lot of playing time, which is great for him. Joe Scaley, another guy who started in a pretty tough game. Mönchengladbach was kind of destroyed, but tough game. But he's getting playing time at 18. You can't really judge him too much, and I feel like it's more what he's doing in training, how he's developing, and the results will come. Next, Brian Reynolds. He seems to be the second choice right back for Roma. Florenzi was loaned out, so you can really see that there's a bit of faith in him by Jose Mourinho at the moment. Roma Press said that he will not be loaned out, and it seems like there are some offers there. So, especially with Roma in Europe this year, you could really expect to see Brian Reynolds get a lot of playing time, and hoping to see him do well. Next, Josh Sargent got some playing time for Norwich as they got crushed. I just saw that he was rocking 24. Shout out Kobe. It's Mamba Day. It was his birthday yesterday, but it's 8:24 today, so looking up there for Kobe. And next, Nicola Giacchini, he's finally back in the Cone team. He's coming off the bench at the moment, and man, you really want to see him take some step forward because he's a talented player, but man, the French second tier, that's not the greatest situation for him. Ethan Horvath, he is still on the bench for Nottingham Forest, but they have no points at the moment in the EFL Championship, and the goalkeeper, he's not lighting the world on fire. They've got an EFL Cup game against Wolves today, so he could get a chance if he shows out today. You could really expect to see him get some playing time, especially after the international break. I feel like that's when his playing time will really come. Next, one of the weirder things, if you haven't seen this, Conrad De La Fuente, his game got abandoned as Lille and Nice had a bit of a Malice in the Palace-esque moment as some water bottles were thrown at Payet. He threw one back, and man, fans just started storming the place, and he's okay, but I might have to avoid wearing my Nice hat for a while, and yeah, that was a crazy situation. Next, Kate Coyle, going to be tougher for him to get some playing time. San Jose brought in Jeremy Aboese, and he might be starting for them. Yeah, that's disappointing. And last thing of the week, Ricardo Pepe scored again for FC Dallas, and with the striker injuries I mentioned, man, I would definitely try to give him a call up this week because, man, he's probably one of our most talented strikers, and with everybody out, Kate Coyle's not playing that much at the moment. You got Zardes injured, Siebatcheu injured, DK, he seems to still be injured. It's him and Sargent, and man, you might have to give him that call. I'm really hoping to see Ricardo Pepe in the national team shirt. Hopefully we can get him because you know that Mexico want to call him up too. So, yeah, that's all I'll talk about this week. And those injuries really suck, but we had a couple of really nice Bundesliga and championship performances. And, man, if Ricardo Pepe continues to do it, man, hopefully he can get called up to the national team. Yeah, that's all I'll talk about. See ya.